Hey guys, I have so many moments over the past 2 months that I couldn't wait to share with you all through a video. But it took me a while to finally put everything together and upload it. This was a bit of a roller coaster to make. I actually lost the footage twice in the process. But I'm super excited to finally share it with you. So, what's it about? After getting off the waitlist for dental school in UDM, I somehow ended up getting an interview invitation from Well Cornell Medicine Qatar. I flew out there for a few days, and in this video, I'm taking you with me through those 3 unforgettable days in Qatar. To be honest, it was really hard to find info or personal experiences online about Well Cornell Qatar. So I put a lot of heart into this video, hoping it might help those of you who are applying in the future. If you got any questions, feel free to drop them in the comments. I'll do my best to answer whatever I can. And since I noticed that a lot of international viewers are also searching for info about Well Cornell Qatar, this video is in English. Hope it helps. And don't miss the ending. That's where I reveal how the interview went.
Cell tower's down. Go ahead, ask me why.
Why would you do that?
I knew you would ask that.
Well, I did.
You want to know why I did it?
I do.
I'll tell you why I did it. I did it for safety reasons, Joe.
Safety reasons. What?
With the exception of handheld portable electronic devices in flight mode, the
정도의 퀄리티에 어마어마하게 좋더만.
네?
어떻게 할까요? 진짜. 응?
네. 네.
The financial aid, free coffee on the site.
Yeah, so feel free to order whatever.
They just like maybe 2 more girls.
Did you tell her?
Yeah, she called me.
What does she want? Does she know we were talking? Send it? Only access it from the front. So like, you have to go around. It's kind of annoying. So that's not where a lot of people study. We have a bunch of classrooms upstairs. I don't know if you guys got to see them. A lot of people study there when there's not a lot of people end up going into internal medicine. What are the most popular ones? Internal medicine, neurology, pediatrics. We had psychiatry, some people family med. We had 2 people match surgery. Oh, nice. One of them each week they have like a committee meeting and they discuss. That's what electrical. Yeah. If you guys want to electrical,
Okay, so first of all, thank you for coming to campus and participating in the process. After today, the Committee on Admissions is going to review your file further with the interviews factored in, and they'll do this several times. This is the first area.
뭔지 알아냈어요. 저 돔이 뭔지 알았어요. 강의실. 열 먹어서 이상해진 건지 느려요. 밥 먹어야 되는데 밥 먹을 데가 없어. 우지도 가야 돼.
이거가 아프리카에만 있는 꽃이 아니죠, 이거. 꽃 이뻐. 어떻게? 이거 치긴.
엄청 작아. 와, 필리핀 맛처럼 똑같이 생겼어요.
진입을 했는데. 안 했으면 불안하지. 지금 아빠한테 누구 보내야 되나.
263. 이제 될걸요? 와이파이.
데이터 안 켰어. 이렇게 키면 이제 돼.
See? See, I see it. Whoa.
이거 봐야 일로 오네. 일로 오네.
대박.
Royal Air, Finnair, JetBlue Airways, British Airways, Iberia, Benjamin Sydney and Japan. Ladies and gentlemen, we request that you remain seated and be brought to board. Boarding will be announced by zone numbers indicated in the boarding passes. Please make sure to carry all your personal belongings before proceeding to the aircraft.
가자, 이쁜 거.
그 평일날은 어때?
하는 곳이래. 그래서 북녘지인만 그래요.
예슬이 반, 이거 반은 저기 혜원이.